KSAT 12. The Nightbeat starts right now.
26 migrants discovered today by Bexar County Sheriff's deputies in a suspected human smuggling operation.
Sheriff Javier Salazar called it a, quote, big money operation that's cartel related. Now, deputies found the people at a home on Oak Island Drive near Loop 1604 and Applewhite Drive. That's on the city's south side.
Can you imagine being in a trailer on a day like today? Of the 26 people they found, 11 taken to the hospital. Deputies also arrested 7 others in connection to the alleged smuggling operation. Tonight, it is unclear where all the people are from, but we do know one of the 26, a woman from Guatemala.
And this is coming less than 48 hours after President Joe Biden's executive order that limits asylum seekers went into effect, something we told you about. And under that new policy, after 7 straight days of more than 2,500 people being stopped at the border, anybody claiming asylum who didn't schedule their arrival with Customs and Border Protection will automatically be turned away.
That's supposed to change after the number of border apprehensions drops down to less than 1,500 a day for 2 weeks straight. This policy aimed at fighting illegal immigration, but we wonder if what we saw today will happen more or less often now.
Well, the night team's Avery Everett spoke with one organization that's helping immigrants across San Antonio who says it's very possible.
It's miserable conditions there, and it's just blazing hot in there.
Unbearable conditions, but not unimaginable circumstances.
That's what we've been seeing.
The Bexar County Sheriff's Office found 26 migrants in a suspected smuggling operation on Thursday afternoon. Sheriff Javier Salazar says after being crammed in the bottom of a trailer to cross the border, they were taken into a small home in South Bexar County. That's where deputies made the bust.
We think everybody's out of the woods as far as losing their life. There was a legislative...
This comes just one day after the sheriff held a press conference breaking down the impacts of President Joe Biden's newest executive order on immigration.
I think it's a good start. I think we can start to refine it a bit as we move forward.
The immigration policy announced earlier this week will temporarily stop granting asylum to migrants at the U.S.-Mexico border if illegal crossings pass a certain threshold. People from both major parties criticized the policy. One San Antonio nonprofit even questions if it'll work.
But I suspect we're going to receive more people coming in without documentation. And what does that mean? That means that people are going to be willing to take risks.
Fred Schellenberg is with the American Organization for Immigrants. He says he doesn't expect border crossings to stop, but instead change with this new policy. He's worried that means more unsafe conditions, like what we saw on Thursday.
Because I don't know that cities like San Antonio are going to have all the resources to help these folks.
The sheriff says finding these 26 people is the first step, even with immigration issues ongoing across Texas. Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
And while deputies investigate what happened today, we're about to mark 2 years since the largest mass casualty event in San Antonio's history. You remember this. Back on June 27th of 2022, 53 people died after suffocating to death in a tractor trailer.
They are images sadly ingrained in our community's memory. Those who died were migrants who were abandoned in a tractor trailer. Today, a memorial stands in the place where that tractor trailer was discovered. And
we know that so far 3 people have pleaded guilty in that specific smuggling case. Now, by tomorrow, Bexar County is hoping to have its new criminal case management system, quote, fully operational. It's been a week since the county started rolling out its Odyssey program. We've told you about this, and since then, KSAT has gotten calls, has gotten emails about delays in jail bookings and releases, records with missing information, mistakes, or cases that were supposed to be expunged instead showing up in this new system. Now, just yesterday, Erica Hernandez reported on one such case. A man who was acquitted of sexual assault in January appeared in Odyssey as guilty. Today, that particular issue appears to have been fixed, but the man's attorney, Eric DeWalt, says that we shouldn't be able to see that case at all because it was expunged. However, the county's chief information officer says this.
We are very confident that we have not exposed any expunged case information to the public at all. So we're confident, again, that our old system matches what's in the new system with regards to expunged cases.
But the attorney in that sexual assault case told KSAT that the order of expunction was filed in February. Criminal District Court Judge Ron Rangel says the expunction, though, that process does take some time. Listen.
There's at least 15, 16 different agencies in the county. When somebody gets arrested, that get reported that incident of arrest. So when somebody goes through an expunction process, they go before a district court, the court signs an order. Now, subsequent to that, it takes at least 120 days for that process and to go through for a record to be fully expunged in all the different agencies that carry this particular record.
As for the backlog at the jail, Rangel says that what started as 800 inmates is now down to 285. As of yesterday, that work was being done manually. County Judge Peter Sakai says that there is no danger to the community.
There will be a recount. YouTuber Brandon Herrera will request a recount in his Republican primary runoff election against U.S. Rep. Tony Gonzalez. I mean, they're only 400 and some votes apart. That's for the Republican nomination in U.S. District 23. Herrera told the Texas Tribune he will request recounts in Bexar, El Paso, Medina, and Uvalde counties after trailing Gonzalez by just 407 votes.
We just don't understand why. Nothing makes sense at all.
It's been 3 long months, but that young man's family still waiting for answers. Caleb Harris, the college student from New Braunfels, last seen at his Corpus Christi apartment in March.
Tonight, his dad tells the night team's John Paul Barajas that their family is not giving up hope.
Given that it's been 3 months, do you still believe you will be reunited with Caleb?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We hope to see him soon, but we have to rely on God.
Caleb Harris was reported missing in Corpus Christi March 4th. Despite having no leads, Caleb's dad, Randy, says he's optimistic, but that it hasn't been easy.
There's days you just break down. You just don't. You're missing your son. We're doing everything we possibly can, and we're not going to stop. But there's days you just.
The Harris family, friends, and even strangers have held search parties, put up flyers, and billboards around the state. A $50,000 reward is also being offered for information that could lead to Caleb's safe return.
We don't know that he's in Corpus. I mean, that's the epicenter, but really don't know. He could be anywhere.
Caleb was last seen hanging out with friends. His dad says everyone is going to sleep, but Caleb stayed up to order food and left the apartment without shoes, his wallet, or keys. He did take his phone, but that was later turned off. Corpus Christi police say the phone has since been reactivated by forensic computer examiners.
So essentially, they're trying to access his phone, maybe to see if there was anything they could pick up from, his texts, calls, or apps, anything like that.
If there was anything that last minute, did he send? Did we miss text? Did we miss a picture? Miss something?
For now, Randy has this message for his son.
If he is in a situation where he's restrained or he's unable to do something, fight with everything he's got.
John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
Certainly hope that this family finds a resolution soon. If you have any information regarding the disappearance of Caleb Harris, call the Corpus Christi Police Department. The number's on your screen. It's 361-826-2840.
We know the dark forces that these heroes fought against 80 years ago. These are perennial. The struggle between a dictatorship and freedom.
President Joe Biden paying tribute to the survivors and those that made the ultimate sacrifice 80 years ago on D-Day. I've been following what's been happening this week through the social media postings from a San Antonio nonprofit called Walk Among Heroes. And what you also notice as you look at some of those posts, there's a bond developing between veterans that spans generations. Take a look at this. Dennis Bolt, last on Omaha Beach in 1944. With him this week, a man who served 65 years later. There's a bond here, and that's why Jeff Wells from San Antonio founded Walk Among Heroes to bridge that veteran generation gap. The two have been to ceremonies, battlefields, and to cemeteries.
I had the privilege of sending a cross of an individual that was in my unit who had not made it. I was able to sit there and offer a prayer to his family.
I go to a ceremony, I can't get him out of the ceremony because there's so many people around them wanting his autograph and taking pictures and the ladies are kissing him on the cheek. It's just magical to see. Sorry, I didn't want to get Dennis in trouble.
It was great talking to those guys. Dennis says the hardest part of this trip is remembering his brothers in arms that never left Normandy, yet changed the world. To learn more about Walk Among Heroes, go to walkamongheroes.org. And to watch more of my interview with Jeff and Dennis, you can see my conversation with these heroes right now at KSAT.com.
Like he had a good sense of humor, too. I love that.
Very funny.
Now, KSAT's back behind the kitchen door. We're back. Daniela Ibarra visits a Korean barbecue restaurant whose permit was pulled because of, quote, gross and unsanitary conditions. So, have they cleaned up their act? Well, it's coming up next on the Nightbeat. Did you know that Bexar County has one of the highest rates of elder abuse? That's why happening 1 week from today, our KSAT community partners are going to have a town hall to discuss the growing challenges of elder abuse right in our community. So we invite you to join our Avery Everett, who's going to be speaking with members from Adult Protective Services to talk about what's being done to fight elder abuse. Happening Thursday, June 13th at 2 p.m. You could watch it live on KSAT Plus. You can also get more information over on ksatcommunity.com. So, cookie ingredients stored on the floor, raw bacon on the cardboard, also pest feces near condiments.
Doesn't sound good. Those are some of the health violations that inspectors found at restaurants across San Antonio.
Daniela Ibarra now takes us behind the kitchen door.
Crumble cookies out in Alamo Ranch fell from 100 earlier this year to an 88. The inspector says the floors were covered with chocolate chips and other foods. They spotted food on utensils, pans, and bottles even after they were cleaned. A bag of sugar was kept on the floor, used as a shelf for water. Thrifty Mart near Zarzamora and Southwest Military Drive got an 80. The inspector saw cardboard being used to put raw bacon in the meat cooler display. Vegetables were stored on top of raw chicken. The inspector noticed several flies in the tortilla room. Korean barbecue spot near 410 and Blanco earned a 64, failing its health inspection. Metro Health suspended Han Machi Korean barbecue's permit in April because of, quote, gross and unsanitary conditions. So we paid them a visit.
I'm Daniela Ibarra. I'm with KSAT's Behind the Kitchen Door.
This man identified himself as a server. We showed him the report with 24 violations. The restaurant also had it posted. The inspector found freezer burnt beef, uncovered rat traps, and pest feces near the water heater and next to a condiment rack.
Do you know if that's been fixed?
Oh yeah, all of that's been fixed already. Next door was abandoned for I don't know how long. And I think when they started doing construction, whatever critters or anything that was in there started scattering everywhere.
Health inspection records show since May 2023, the scores at Home Machi have continued to drop.
What would you tell people who might be nervous to eat here because of that?
I would just tell them everything's under control.
The server says the restaurant has brought in pest control. He says it's also revamping the menu.
But everything's good to go now, you said?
Everything's super good, yeah.
For Behind the Kitchen Door, I'm Daniela Ibarra.
All right, we'll let that stay right there. And now talk about what's happening outside. 100-degree days.
Yeah, another one.
The warm one today, that's for sure.
Yes, but luckily it wasn't too humid in the afternoon. That was the key. We're finally getting that afternoon mixing during the hottest part of the day. Drier air aloft mixing down, and that's really limiting our heat index compared to what we had earlier this week. Take a look at this, our third 100-degree day so far this year. Of course, we have a long way to go, and let's hope we don't make it into this list. But last year we had 75 100-degree days, the most of all time on record here. So 101, that was our high. That was 3 degrees shy of the record high temperature. Looking ahead, 101 Friday, Saturday, still triple digits on Sunday. Then a little break from triple digits, mid-90s for highs Monday, Tuesday, even on into Wednesday with this subtle shift in our weather pattern. The heat high, it's going to be here, leave, and come back. But I don't think it's going to come back permanently. Let's talk about the drought monitor. First of all, this is last week's drought monitor. Remember, it's updated every Thursday. So this is last week's, and then 3, 2, 1. You see the changes there? Did you miss it? Here, let's go back. Okay. 3, 2, 1. We erased the dry conditions along the Gulf Coast, but unfortunately, the drought worsened west of town, particularly Del Rio to Brackettville, and we still have the drought Kerrville, Comfort, Bernie, Bandera, Medina as well, and just about to Hondo. However, it did get cut off a little bit right here just north of I-10 as you get up into Gillespie County. This was a red area. It's not anymore. So there was subtle improvement in parts of the hill country. You look at the rest of the state, A-OK for most of Texas. North Texas, Central Texas, East Texas, Coastal Bend, only 25% of Texas in drought. And a good portion of that 25% is right here in our neck of the woods, then a little bit in West Texas. Just look at this. Over the past 7 days, Dallas has had over 6 inches of rain. Tyler, nearly 6 inches of rain. Waco, 4.5. Houston, about 2 inches. And these are just radar estimates. There are some locations in between here with higher amounts over the past week. Here in San Antonio, a trace. But remember, west yesterday in parts of Val Verde and Edwards County, we did have a few inches of rain. So that was something in those isolated parts I showed you last night. So the heat high, it's taken over. It's going to sit overhead for the next few days and then exit as we get into early next week, opening the door for little bits of energy to round our next ridge and come on in from the Pacific. I don't think it's going to do a whole lot for us. Most of it, North Texas, again, getting the brunt of it. But remember, we could still get some of those leftovers and even have a little bit of development overhead. Then a new heat high settles in by Thursday of next week, Wednesday and Thursday. But I don't see this as being permanent either. I think it's going to be a brief stay, a brief visit by that heat high. So there is some hope beyond next Thursday for at least rainfall potential. And you look at it still mostly Panhandle, North Texas, Central Texas, we could just get clipped by some of that activity. I do want to point out, you could actually see downtown today from our city cam. Not exactly crystal clear. No. And we did have some haze in the sky. Part of that from the smoke in the air, but the situation is improving. You look at the line of smoke by the computer models continues to get pushed southwestward. And that'll be the case with the prevailing wind pushing it away gradually tomorrow. And I anticipate more of a baby blue color to the sky the next couple of days before that smoke could work its way back into town. Sunny wall-to-wall tomorrow. Wall-to-wall sunshine, beautiful day, bright blue sky. 76 in the morning, 93 at noon, 101 the high temperature. But here's the key. Only feeling like it's about 105 to 107. Only. And when you think back to Tuesday, we had the record hottest heat index value ever here in San Antonio at 117. So 105, that's nothing. We can take that, no problem. Bring on some high-intensity interval training outdoors, right, compared to what we've been through.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not encouraging that. Talk to your doctor first. A wall-to-wall sunshine through Sunday, then that 20% chance Monday and Tuesday. And looking outside with live cam. Actually, I think we could see downtown better now than we could earlier today as that prevailing northeasterly wind is starting to push that smoke out of here, which I am all in favor of.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so there weren't that many problems with the Cowboys offense for most of the season. Then the playoffs hit.
And they did not look very good against the Packers. That offense just kind of sputtered. So the Cowboys want to change that. When it comes to the offense, Dak says his comfort level, that it's hit a new level. And the Brahmas are getting ready to face the Battlehawks for the third time this season. Coming up.
We just need to play our game to win.
I mean, obviously, we got to play as one unit.
Just play the way that we've been playing and be focused on the details, the small details. That's what's going to win us games.
The Brahmas are gearing up for the XFL Conference Championship in big board sports. Mandatory minicamp is in the books for Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. Up next, training camp in late July. During his Q&A yesterday, Dak talked about being in a better place in Coach McCarthy's offense, so he was asked to explain what he means.
Yeah, I mean, just second year offensively for sure, right? Second year in Mike's offense. Yeah, that last year at this time, right, was the first time you're hearing these things. You're on the 500 level now, you know what I mean? And you're talking these plays in particular game situations, down in distances, and not just, you know, the breaks, the alignments, and things like that, right? We're getting into the nuts and the bolts of the thing. So, yeah, it's just year 2 of anything. I'm sure year 2, and, you know, when you're covering, you're a lot more better, a lot confident in it. And I just think that us and the quarterbacks, we just broke down at the end of practice and talked about what we felt good about this offseason in comparison. And, yeah, that was the first thing, is being in year 2, everything's faster.
After making it to the second round of the playoffs last year with a new head coach and a rookie starting quarterback, expectations have risen for the Houston Texans. Their defense got a boost when signing free agents this offseason. And our Nick Mantis has more on how one of those guys can have an immediate impact.
Well, the Houston Texans went shopping this offseason, Larry, spending $20 million to get free agent defensive lineman Danico Autry. Just goes to show you where the Texans want to spend their money. They want to get after the quarterback this year. And head coach D'Amico Ryans almost went into a trance when he was telling us how excited he is to have Autry on his defense.
He's one of the toughest players, I think, and one of the toughest and most respected players across the league. Like, you talk to any offensive lineman that's went against him, he has their utmost respect. He plays the game the right way. How I see, he plays hard. He plays with the intensity that's unmatched, and he still finds a way to get in the backfield, moving around, playing multiple spots, whether it's at the interior or on the edge. He's just a tough, hard-nosed football player that's unbreakable.
I just want to come be a part of something that, you know, that's going in the right direction. You know, I mean, I really can't. I just want to be part of something great. You know what I mean? Just taking care of my body, maintenance. You know, being able to go whenever I'm called on, and, you know, just study, and, you know, just doing what I do, playing ball.
Well, Autry is coming off a career season where he had 50 tackles and 11.5 sacks, something that Texans fans can expect a lot more of this upcoming season. At NRG Stadium, Nick Mantis. Larry, back to you.
Thank you, Nick. The San Antonio Brahmas are getting ready to face the St. Louis Battlehawks for the XFL Conference Championship, and we're not sure who will start at quarterback. Chase Garbers is dealing with the wrist injury that knocked him out of last week's game at St. Louis. If he can't go, then Quentin Dormady will start. Now, the Brahmas are 0-2 versus the Battlehawks this season, and they need this win.
Yeah, well, you know, we played them 2 times already, so we have a great idea going in of what we're going to see. Just another opportunity to, you know, get a win, and unfortunately the first 2 outcomes didn't go our way, but, you know, this time we're looking to get a win.
It's obviously do or die. This is the moment that we wanted to be in at this point in the season, so another opportunity to go out and have fun with the guys and play our best brand of football that we can play.
St. Louis will host San Antonio Sunday night at 6 for the XFL Conference Championship. In softball, the Sooners were looking to sweep the Longhorns and make history after the break. Time for Game 2, the Women's College World Series between Texas and Oklahoma. UT facing a must-win tonight. Texas led 1-0, and in the top of the third, down 1, bases loaded, when Longhorns' Alyssa Washington sends one right back up the middle to score a run, tying this game at 2-all. A clutch 2-out hit to keep the bases loaded, but OU got out of the inning without allowing any more runs. Bottom 4, Sooners down 1, and with the bases full, Sydney Sanders hits one to the gap, and that will go down as a bases-clearing double to give OU the lead for good, 5-3, and the second-ranked Sooners top the number 1 ranked Horns 8-4 to win and sweep Texas. So Oklahoma is the first D1 team to win 4 straight softball national championships. Our Lady of the Lake softball was recognized at the San Antonio City Council chambers today. Mayor Ron Nirenberg read his proclamation that declared June 6, 2024 as Olu Women's Softball NAIA World Series Champions Day. Congratulations. And in the NBA Finals, the Celtics beat the Mavs in Game 1, 107-89. Game 2 is Sunday at 7 p.m.
Not really close tonight.
Not at all.
But we got on almost on time.
Exactly.
So.
It ended in regulation. We love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that many people upset in our newsroom about this. We'll be right back.